What do you think that sound is? A dead battery, a starter, maybe something else? We'll show you how to figure it out and fix it yourself. We're talking about when you go out to your vehicle and you just get a click or nothing at all versus when you're getting a cranking no start. If you're getting a cranking no start, the engine's trying to turn over, you can hear it, but it's just not catching. The battery and the starter is working properly, but there's something else going on with the engine. You want to take a good look at the battery, see what kind of condition it's in. If there's major corrosion on it, or if the battery looks like it's swollen. If you can find a date code and the battery's over 5 years old, chances are you're going to need a battery anyway. Take a look at the terminals, give them a wiggle, see if anything's loose. If the terminals are loose, it's not going to be charging properly while the vehicle's running, and it's going to cause the battery to die quicker. If you have a voltmeter, you can test the battery, just get a quick test, see if it's over 12.6 volts. If it's over 12.6, that's not saying that the battery is still in perfect shape. You should do a draw test, but if it's down near 7 volts, then you know there's something wrong with the battery and it's not taking a charge properly. Maybe you even charged it up overnight and you came out and checked it. If it's still under 12 volts after charging for a long period of time, the battery's not taking a proper charge. Another thing you could do if you don't have a voltmeter is turn the headlights on and see how bright or dim the headlights are. If they're bright like these, chances are the battery's charged up pretty good. If they're on the dimmer side, then it's fairly discharged and needs to either be charged up or replaced. So the battery checks out, everything's fine, the connections are good. Even with a boost pack, it's still not starting. The next thing you're thinking is it could be the starter motor. So if you have someone in the vehicle turning the key, what you can do is take a hammer and give the starter motor a little tap. There could be some corrosion on there, or even the starter is frozen and not causing it to engage. If you give it a little tap, that might move some stuff around in there and get you started. Now that's not going to fix your starter, that's just going to get you so that you can get home or get where you need to go to have it repaired. There's a couple other problems that could cause these symptoms, but for us, we need a starter motor. And you can get these at 1aauto.com and watch thousands of videos to help you with the install. Now we're going to get into the repair, show you how the starter works and how to resolve this issue. The starter motor location is going to vary vehicle to vehicle. Most of the time you're going to find easiest access from underneath the engine, and it's always going to be in a location where the engine is meeting the transmission on either side of there, somewhere near the flywheel of the vehicle. On this vehicle we can access it from underneath. Just going to pull the bolts out. And there it is. Not too bad. Some vehicles it's actually a little more difficult. You'll actually have to take some panels off, maybe even have to take the intake out. Let's show you how this works so you get a better understanding of it. This stud right here goes to battery positive. So there's a wire that comes off here. It goes directly to the hot side of the battery plus side, and that's hot all the time. There's no switch that turns that on or off. This connection right here is where when you turn the key to crank the vehicle, it sends 12 volts right there, and that's what's going to engage the starter to activate. The body of the starter is where it gets its ground. It attaches to the engine, so the ground is important. If the ground is loose or weak or not working properly, that could cause an issue with the starter as well. So make sure your grounds are good. So let's hook this up so you can see what's going on. We have a battery pack here. We're going to hook that. That's hot. the ground up. Put a jumper wire here. Connect this to the positive. And then when I connect these two together, the starter will engage. So putting these together is like turning the key. And that's how the starter works. You can see that it pushes out, and that's where it's going to attach to the flywheel and start spinning. Turn it to the side, you can see a little better. It's a lot of torque in there. So with this starter, there's a flat spot somewhere on the brushes, and that's why it was failing. Eventually, if we get to that flat spot, it won't start. But you don't want to get stuck somewhere just waiting for that flat spot. So it's a good thing we changed it. One more thing we didn't talk about that could give you a clicking symptom when you go to start the vehicle is your engine could be seized. Now that's a worst case scenario. It's not very common, but it does happen. The way to check this would be to put a socket on the crankshaft and try to manually spin the engine. If you can turn the engine, then it's not seized. But that does happen, but normally you're gonna know about that. You probably, when you shut it off, the engine made a noise, or you're not changing your oil. So make sure you change your engine oil.